What's happening, everyone? It is the 1st of January 2026, start to a new year. This video I'm going to tell you all about my DMT trip. I've had a lot of people asking since I put the preview thing that I was going to be doing it, and how it brought me to Thailand, including synchronicities and other little bits of my spiritual journey, along with like a few bits of metaphysics. I may go off track a little while here and there as I do, but stay with me. So I've always been spiritual on and off, and studying different aspects of religion and things like that. And I've always got, I found now in my journey that when I'm in a good place with either praying, being spiritual, or just being mindful of that and trying to live in that kind of practice, that amazing things happen. The minute I don't have that, my world falls apart. Hence many years of struggling mental health. Some people need it, some people don't. I desperately need it to save my life. If you've not seen my story on my mini life story on how I got to here, have a look in my descriptions, you'll see it. So it started off again in about September, October 2024, where I was starting to really struggle again with alcohol and different things and depression. And it got to the point my kids are getting older, not spending as much time with me, and that's all I really did. I didn't go out much. I thought I was in a better place, trying to better myself by just having my kids and not going out and this kind of thing. But I realised I was sort of living for them, or also having no life and still drinking in my spare time. Then the reality kicked in. It just got harder and harder. And then I had a big argument with my eldest daughter leading up towards Christmas, which caused my youngest daughter not to come. Which absolutely broke me down. I went so far backwards over the years I've been working on myself. And I just couldn't find a way. And I remember years before I tried DMT, dimethyltryptamine. It's a compound found in all nature. We've produced it naturally, or at least it's been found to produce naturally in other animals. It's a compound that's meant to take it to another state, another dimension. And most people think, oh yeah, it's another like trip and this and that. Now in trips like acid and things like that, what happens is things keep changing and like things appearing and moving. This is like you're in a totally different dimension, being guided by some kind of spirit. Anyone who's done it before, comment below and let me know a bit about your trip and how it's helped you, if it has. I found nobody that it's had a negative impact on yet. And it basically guided me. I come out of my one session that I'd done, and it was basically guiding me with all these different entities and things like this. I'll show you quickly. I am going to try and put a visual on and get something made up so you can see the actual what happened. But basically, I come out of it. The first time, I saw Henry VIII in a pack of cards, holding a Tommy gun, laughing at me, sticking his middle finger up and shooting demons that was trying to get me. He told me everything was going to be okay and you're going to come back into some kind of money and be okay. It happened. I'm not going to tell you the full journey, but it happened. And once again, drifted back off the path of meditating, thinking about these things consciously and just living in my soft-wired brain every day, the subconscious, just going about the same routine, same habits. And then obviously once eventually I come to that December where I've just told you, where my kids didn't come. And my biggest mistake was taking my youngest daughter's presents back because they didn't want to come and see me, because it broke her heart and it's the biggest regret I'll have, and it broke our relationship. We haven't really spoken in a year. She still tries to make an effort, but not. And I know that crippled her when she wasn't to blame. Mostly my own behaviours and arguing with my eldest daughter. And they promised me that I was going to talk to them when I come away. Only my eldest really is, my youngest isn't. But I've had to get my head around that as part of my journey and getting better myself, for them and for myself. So in the next trip, he was basically telling me, this is the one that got me to here. If any of you have done DMT, you'll know that you should really voice record yourself after, or make notes, because after a short period of time it comes like disappears half the memories. So I can just remember guided and being told you need to get away. It's been your passion, your dream all your life is to be able to live and work abroad anywhere in the world, and you're not fulfilling your dream. You've got children, you're struggling with this because you're not being creative. And what I've found is authenticity and creativity and just being your genuine self is what creates abundance and creates the right metaphysics to attract. And this is what I got told, all of this in my last trip. I was already aware, but it just solidified it for me. And so basically just by being myself again, I'm writing poems again, I'm being creative, I'm doing this, being able to express myself in everything that I believe and enjoy. We're back home, I'd try and have these conversations in depth with people, and it would just go on deaf ears, or they'd just shrug it off as, this nonsense. But, there's actual factual evidence, scientific evidence, brain studies. You've only got to look at Dr. Joe Dispenza and have a look at his works on this kind of thing. And there's an equation to it. It's basically, you have to perceive that you've already got what you want and the happiness, and manifest those emotions, and that then attract. It's a scientific fact, and I'm living it. But anyway, back to this journey. So it was basically telling me you need to get away, to stop not looking for your signs, because I stopped looking for signs a good while back. So told me to start looking for your signs again from the universe, pray, meditate, get back in line, raise your vibration, so I'm back on that plane, which I was doing a little bit leading up to going away, but I was battling. But anyway, this trip showed me all of these messages, and it opened a massive gateway, and it just says coming through. Basically, it was going to take me to this next level, which anyone who's had a complete breakthrough will go, oh crap, yeah. And that's what it was. And I was ready. I was thinking, this is where I see everything and learn even more. But I'd learned a lot up until then, but I was literally completely terrified to go through that. So it was I just basically said no to it. And then within a minute, I was straight back into this dimension, this plane, this third dimensional plane that we live in. And it basically says, you need to move away, start thinking about it, studying it. So I came out and put YouTube on, started looking at places to live. One man, as Rashleigh, I've praised him so many times. There's actually a video in here from where I met him after I actually sort of manifested getting over here the first time, before I made the decision to come back for good to save my life. And so I started watching these videos, and it was basically showing me how cheap you could live over here. It's a Buddhist country. That's the sort of thing that I like to practice. Everything that you probably already know about Thailand, that's why you're watching these videos. If you don't know about it, watch one of my other videos, because this is about the DMT trip and where it got me here. So I started watching these videos, meditating and listening for signs, and I was getting signs regular for different things. I can't remember them again, like I say, I should write them down, but there was so many leading up to it. The last ones leading up to getting over here will blow your mind. So I've got to get in the pool. It's roasting now. I'm baking. Good job, I've got the good old Factor 50 on. And my cap. So I started watching these videos and realising how cheap it was to live here. And then, it's cold. Working out my own costs of living and realising that what I pay in the UK for 1 month pays for a year's rent here. I don't go out a lot there. All I want to do is try and have peace. So this just seemed like a viable option. So once again, sat down with my family, discussed it, and then everything was agreed. And then I was having a battle against it, and this is where the synchronicities come in. I was praying and asking for signs, and they come in abundance because I was being authentic and knowing I was heading to my right destiny, my journey. And so one of the signs was I was trying to rehome my dog, which once again shows the sacrifice. And anyone who knows me knows how much I love my dog. And I couldn't find the right person. I found a lovely lady, Jessica Hone. She's a boxer from Coventry. Pick up yourself, Jess. Keep smashing it. She was going to have him, but it seemed quite far away, and I was up for it. And then the lady who looks after my dog while I'm working and things like that in the UK, or even when my head's gone regular, she used to have the dog, and then a friend who I grew up with lived opposite her. They just happened to be on the same cruise at the same time, and they don't really talk that much. And he discussed that he wanted a dog. So I was like, okay, that's, coincidental, but I was like, okay, so gave him a try. The dog fell in love with the family. He's a great lad, Shep, if you're watching. Appreciate you. So they had the dog. Anyway, a few other things happened that I can't remember, but the key one was, I just says, come on, one more sign, please, and I'll trust you. Even though I already knew now I was at this point of elevation, it was like, oh shit, this is how it works. And the same thing I said about the attraction, what Dr. Joe Dispenza, believing it first, which I meditated on, and it started to fall into place. But then I had a phone call, and this was the last confirmation off Adam, and he says, oh, can you have the paperwork for the dog, please? So I went, yeah. I took the paperwork round. He says, what's that there? I said, oh, that's his date of birth. And I forgot about asking for another message by now because the build-up of coming away. Well, it just happened to be his son's date of birth, the same day. And I was like, that was the sign, and it hit home. And I've been trying to question signs ever since I've been here. And I can't even question it. My brain won't allow me now, which means I've obviously gone to that next level. And then also, once I got here, this is the next mind-blowing part of it all. I'm walking through the lobby and I'm talking to a lad who I met here when I came to check it out, Brad. And he basically gave me a job editing, which is, you know, just enough to survive out here without touching my money I've come with, which I'm ever so grateful for. He's also on the same journey, talking about the same things. And then to top it off, this is the next one that just happened a few days ago where I really need to share with him, which is also prompted me making this video. Okay, so before I tell you, just look at this view I'm being able to live with as well now. You know, so this was the next one. I've been doing my morning meditation as usual. I was having a little low period. That's usually when you're getting attacked. It all sinks in with the Bible, spirits, UAPs, UFOs, all this kind of thing is one big thing, which I'll probably get to at some point. We'll be starting a community to explain it all as well. If you're interested in learning about how this works. And there's something called seeding, which helps you manifest, which 100% works. I'll explain that as well, all in the community at some point. But back to the main point, this last synchronicity was unbelievable. So I'm walking back from meditating. I've done my stretching, and it's my day off training. And something's saying, go to the boxing gym. I'm like, nah, I've done enough. And it was like, no, this is a sign. Like, this was the universe telling me to go to the boxing gym. As I got up the stairs, I saw a set of trainers on the floor, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. I've gone in, and there's a lad called Kai. His name's Kai, also call him King. And he was on the phone to one of his friends trying to explain to him about this, what I'm explaining to you guys about now. I'll be doing a video and an interview with him very soon. But anyway, he's getting a bit, he knows his conversation's come to an end because the person isn't receiving the information well, so he knows to cut it off, which I was very impressed with walking past him. He clocked my yin yang on my thumb and my Egypt and chakra tattoos, and basically opened up and started talking to me about it. And then all of a sudden I says, I wasn't even going to come up here today, but something told me to come here. And he went, whoa, he says, you won't believe this. He says, I wasn't going to, but my girlfriend kept saying you might meet your future boxing coach. Hence, then what happened was I got talking to him. He says, do you box? I said, yeah, I've coached for 20 plus years. And he was like, no. And I've been really interested in trading, online trading. I'm good with patterns, and it's also part of my creative mindset helps. And in between my video vlogging and other business ventures. And he's a top trader, earns a lot of money. And I've been studying it for 2 or 3 days now straight. And I've started to make minimal profits and understand the charts. So how about that for another synchronicity that's built something else into my life, and we've become good friends. So you might have had some similar experiences yourself. If you have, comment below. But let's take away the key points from this. So about being creative and authentic. So most of my life I've not been able to be fully creative and authentic due to environment and my own thought patterns. From this, I struggled mentally and had a life, decades of battling because of that. Then God, the universe, the signs came in and started changing my life for me to make these things happen. Hence, sort of take my kids out of my life, push me as far as I can to be away, as well as many other things I haven't really put into this video. But if you've had these, eventually you should wake up to these patterns and see that, you know what, just go with the flow. Trying to fight it, that's what messes your head up. So don't fight anything, just go with the flow and trust in God, trust in the force, trust in the universe, trust in the whatever you believe in. It's all one, and you will end up somewhere like this, or wherever you're destined to be or want to be, that makes you the most peaceful and best version of yourself. And I give you my word, 100% that will happen. But you've got to trust in the signs, learn to look for them, meditate, pray, and trust in them. Wish you all the best on your journey as well. So I'm going to chill now with some tunes, do some more meditation.